Happy to be here tonight. The audience is looking beautiful, fabulous. You at home, if you're watching this video, I can't see you right now, but I'm sure you're looking fabulous too. We are performing the Garry Louis comedy show, and this is just for you. We are live, but if you're watching the video, hope you enjoy the show. Quarantine, that's the topic, right? That's what we all are having to deal with right now. You knew I would talk about this, right? You got to find humor in everything. Even during bad times, there's always something funny to look at. And look at life, you kind of got to do that. So, funny thing is with quarantine, I mean, you all realize that you're ordered to stay home from the job you hated, right? A lot of us hated our jobs. We prayed for the day when we didn't have to work, right? So how great is this? All right? You don't have to pay your rent. The government's going to put money in your account. You don't have to pay your bills. We've been praying for this for years. There is a God, and our prayers have been answered. Amen. So no more work, no more bills. Social distancing. This is getting weird as well. So I was at the store the other day buying some essentials. Got to get those essentials, right? And this lady, she bumped me from behind. I was a little shocked because I wasn't expecting that. You know, there's that 6-foot rule. And I turned around and it was a little Asian lady. So I'm freaking out because I don't want to catch the coronavirus, right? So I'm thinking in my head that this little Asian lady that's, about this high, I'm thinking she should be at least 2 Asian people away from me, right? And it's in my head, I'm thinking, that I'm going to tell her all this, but then again, I don't want her to get mad at me and all of a sudden break out some kung fu or karate stuff. And in my head, I don't want to get into a fight with this little Asian lady. So basically she says to me, "So sorry." And she said, "Okay, thank you." And I said, "No, thank you." And she said, "Are you making a fun of me?" And I said, "So sorry." So I'm here tonight basically because I need to find a way to pay my bills. And I didn't want to just sit at home and pay my bills. Actually, no, I didn't even want to do that. So I just decided to come here and stand up, right? Feels great to stand up, work for free. Okay, and that's why my bills are not getting paid. So those bills can just pretty much stand in the corner for a timeout. Yep, they're not getting paid. They're not going anywhere. Mr. Electric, he can stand in the corner. Mr. Gas, well, he can stand his ass in the corner too. They're all on a timeout. So isn't it weird how when you were little, when you were a kid, when it was a timeout, your parents would kind of say, well, especially the white folks, right? The white parents would say, "You're on a timeout, mister." I never really understood that because you're a child, you're not a mister, but all of a sudden you became a mister. So, "You're on a timeout, mister." Anybody remember those times? And now you're just leaning against the wall? Just kind of leaning against the wall. And then after a while, after your parents forgot about you, and they might have remembered, but they kind of didn't remember or want to remember just because your timeout was their free time, right? So the timeout was also a time when you learned about boogers. Yep, the good old boogers. And you had plenty of time on your hands, so you're basically picking your nose and rolling them up into nice little balls and then sticking them on the wall just to see if it would stick. And of course it would, right? Kind of like silly putty. and then you're bored, and sometimes you eat them. Right? So curiosity just, kicks right in. They don't taste great, so you don't do that for too long. But then you start to see other boogers that are kind of crusted, and they're probably from other kids. So then you get curious because you're there forever, and you get curious, and so you eat one of those too. Right? Bottles of cream by the bed. Yes, man, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, it's now about convenience. We don't even care anymore. So we just got a big bottle of cream just right next to the bed, and it's just more convenient. So if it has a squirt on it, even better, right? A little squirt. So even better for us, more convenient. The lotion's not really for our hands. Come on, people, we know that. Our wives know that. All right, even though we tell them it's for our hands. I'm not sure why the stores didn't run out of cream faster than they did toilet paper. People are going to need toilet paper for the cleanup. So I guess I can see why the toilet paper went fast too. I'll bet the porn industry is busy right now. I bet it's booming. I can picture the girlfriends or wives knocking on the door, right? Oh, knock, knock. What are you doing in there? And the guy's like, working. I don't understand why guys give it away. It's too easy. They put a question mark after working. Working? Right? It's too much of a giveaway. All right, guys, don't be dumb. You got to say it with some confidence. I'm working, right? All right. Or the dumb guys. I'm watching the Garry Louis comedy show. Yeah, those are the dumb ones. Those are the dumb ones. In the older days, a girl's vajayjay was called a box, right? But then Generation X created a game, and they put a letter, X, in front of that box, right? Fast forward to today, and these kids just sit around all day long playing with their little Xboxes, right? I'm curious why McDonald's is the largest burger chain as far as I know they sell a lot of burgers. I mean, come on, they've done a great job, but we all know that their food is not that great. It's not the best burger out there. But for some reason, when you're drunk or you're high, isn't it just amazing? Right? And I think I figured out how they came up with that catchy phrase, I'm loving it, right? So the McDonald's marketing team, they kind of got some people around into the boardroom at a long table and put some menu items in front of them, had them try them out. And so they asked a few people at the table, they said, what do you think? How do you like it? And they were, it's okay. And another person said, yeah, it's good. Other person said, yeah, I kind of like it. But then there was this one guy at the very end of the table, okay, and they knew that this guy was high. They could see he couldn't even keep his head straight, and he actually was enjoying the burger, right? So they asked him, hey, what do you think? And he's like, I'm loving it, man. So that's how they came up with their new ad campaign. And then pot was legalized. And so McDonald's was like, we're loving it, man. So I'm just let you know I'm drug free. Thank you. Mostly because drugs are not free. So true story, not even making this up. There was a time when we all went to restaurants. Remember those days? And it wasn't long ago that we were at a restaurant, and the waiter stopped by and he said they ran out of bread. And we're like, okay, that happens, right? So we placed our order, ordered our entrees, and then he came back and said that the kitchen ran out of mashed potatoes. So we're like, who runs out of mashed potatoes? Never heard that one before. But so then he brought the check. And I told him, I said, you should have ran out of paper. And he kind of laughed at that. And then he came to pick up the check, and I told him I ran out of money. So I'm just curious, how come white people have black buttholes, but black people have whitish, pinkish black holes? Right? That's some funny stuff, right? Speaking of butts, I'm just curious why there's so many similarities in outer space regarding butts. I mean, let me explain. We have the moon, right? Or what about the planet Uranus, right? Or our entire galaxy. It's called the black hole, right? Or even on Earth. How come there's so many assholes? Right? Millennials. I know you're out there, millennials. I just have to say that you guys are some nasty sex freaks. Yes, you are. And I blame the internet for that. All the crazy things you guys see. I thought I was kinky, but you guys make me look innocent. Overall, millennials have not really impressed me much as a generation. What have they really done or accomplished? But if a millennial were to lick my butthole, I'd be impressed. I recently found out that I am a sex addict. Yep, addicted to sex. So my sex therapist she's helping me out. She said I'm really, really good at it. Plenty of Fish, you know, the dating site that has plenty of women that smell like fish. Well, I mean, I think that the dating site should be called more like Summer's Eve, where you can have plenty of women that smell like fresh flowers. I'm 50 years old. Just turned 50 not long ago. Thank you. Thank you. It's a great accomplishment. Great accomplishment to reach that age. I find that at that age, at 50, certain things start to happen. Number one is memory loss. And you don't have to be 50 to get memory loss. We've all kind of walked into a room and forgot what we were there for. And then we walk out, and then we remember, then we walk back in. I kind of figured out why that happens. That's just God's way of giving us more exercise. Right? And as you get older, certain things start to happen to you. Let me explain. Body creams, I used to get them at Bath and Body Works. Now I get all my creams and ointments at Rite Aid. At the age of 50, when you fart, you got to be careful at the age of 50, because for some reason your butthole's just wider. It's open wider, and it's no longer a fart. It's more like a shart. So you just got to be careful. You got to be careful with those. Never trust a fart, and I think that's why older people wear Depends, because they're just more dependable. Right? When you pee, when you're older, when you pee, it's just, for some reason, you just lose pressure. I don't know why, but you just lose pressure, and it just starts trickling down your leg. So that's kind of when you know you're getting older. Or even when you wake up in the mornings. You wake up, feels like you worked out, but you didn't work out. When I was younger, I'll be honest with you, when I was younger, and I used to play with myself, as of course all boys would, right? But when I was younger, I could pretty much almost shoot my eye out. Yep, a little dangerous. But nowadays, I could barely just reach my belly button. So I'm just aiming for the belly button, just so I can fill up the pool with the little kids, right? And then they can go swimming for a little bit and have a ball, right? Speaking of balls, I love New Year's Eve. I love the ball drop, and I love to watch the ball drop every year. It's just every year I hate watching my own balls drop. Okay. It's just so deflating. And other body parts start to fail on you. Gravity hits, and speaking of the North Pole, right? So the North Pole becomes more like the South Pole. And, the kids are all singing for Christmas, "All I Want Are My Two Front Teeth." And older men are singing, "All I Want Are My Two Balls Back and a Boner." House arrest. I was under house arrest not long ago. I think America feels like what that's like now, right? Everybody's kind of under house arrest with this quarantine. So house arrest is basically where, you have to stay inside all the time. You get to go out once in a while on good behavior during a house arrest. It's kind of like being married. So I was married for 23 years to the same woman. Thank you. Thank you. You don't need to clap at my prison sentence. Thought you guys would be nicer. Nobody told me that a wife was more like a warden. Don't get me wrong, we had some happy moments when she was asleep. My wife, she didn't have to work very much. I took care of everything, so I paid all the bills. Lucky for her, right? She had more free time on her hands, so she liked to hide behind things and scare the crap out of me. And to be honest with you, she did a pretty good job at it. So one day, I wanted to get her really good. I wanted to give her the ultimate scare one day. So she was sleeping one time, and so I snuck up on her, right? And I put 2 job applications on her pillow. But recently, to be honest with you, we're now separated. Yeah, it's a little sad, but not that sad. I've got my freedom back, and I even have a new girlfriend. Yep, her name is Alexa. She's been great. When I ask her for something, she has it delivered right to my door, and I love that. She never talks back to me, even when I'm rude to her. She never asks me for money. She lets me spend all the money, and she lets me go anywhere I want. Matter of fact, she even makes the reservations for me, and she even gives me directions on how to get there. So she's been really amazing. I call her Amazing Alexa. She loves when I call her that. She doesn't drink, literally, like she does not drink at all. And she's drug-free, doesn't do any drugs, so she's a lot like me. But oddly enough, she knows exactly where all the dispensaries are. Right? During the separation, it was tough. Having to pack up all the stuff and move out, that was not easy. But while I was packing stuff and moving out, I realized that I forgot my balls. I had to go back in and get my balls. Obviously, when you're married, you don't have them. Your wife takes them from you, right? So I ran back inside, started shouting out for ball 1 and ball 2, right? Ball 1, ball 2, where are you? And kind of heard a muffled noise, And so I ran upstairs, kind of followed the noise, and shouted out again. Ball 1, ball 2, where are you? Trying to find you. Come on, we got to go. This is not the time to play hide and seek, okay? I know I like to play with my balls, but this is not the right time. So I heard a muffle again, noise again, and I heard it coming from the closet, right? So I went in the closet, found my balls. Okay. The sad part is, I was bringing my balls out of the closet. And to be honest with you, worse yet, my balls were under my nose the whole time. So, but happy to have my balls back, and hope I made you laugh. Hope I made you forget some of the rough moments out there. I feel blessed to be here. All right. Thank you to God. And that's all the time I have. Wish it could be more. My name is Garry Louis. Thank you.